11 November 2020, and today I want to talk about why Ginimbi's car, Rolls-Royce, right, exploded and bent up when it crashed in Harare, in Borodale. That is on Sunday morning around 5 a.m. And what I want to do is, I want to take you through what a Rolls-Royce car is and what it is supposed to do. These are very luxurious cars for super rich people. But Ginimbi was not like everyone else. He was the super of the super rich in terms of his Rolls-Royce collection. Ginimbi had a lot of luxury cars. He was a collector. So he kept his wealth in his cars. For example, if you look at this Rolls-Royce, I think he had at least 5 of them. That is a total of almost, if I'm not mistaken, 1.5 million to 2 million US dollars in terms of the value of just his Rolls-Royce. That is not including the Bentleys that he had and the Range Rovers. So the value of Ginimbi's cars could easily have been up to 10 million US dollars. Let's look at the price of the Rolls-Royce.
These are some of the best-selling Rolls-Royce models, and these are their entry-level prices. But with virtually unlimited optional extras, upgrades, and customizations, the true cost of a bespoke Rolls-Royce has no limits.
There is no limit to how much a Rolls-Royce can cost. It can cost as much as the owner wants it to cost. And Ginimbi had a number of these. He just didn't have one expensive car. He had a lot of expensive cars. He had 3 Rolls-Royce Ride, one black, silver, and another one gold and red. And each car was costing 330,000. The value of these cars was massive. He also had a Ghost, a Rolls-Royce Ghost, the black one. He had a Rolls-Royce Dawn, and you can imagine these cars are thousands. He even had a Rolls-Royce Phantom. So these are the kind of cars that Ginimbi had in his collection. So he was not a person that you can say was just buying one car or 2 cars. This man had love for his cars, and he bought the best of the best in terms of the cars that he's got. Now, the question is, when did Ginimbi buy this new Rolls-Royce, the one that he crashed in? And I think this one is the newest that he bought. If you look at a video that he made with Davido, you will see that at that particular time, he was driving the one that looks goldish in color. So that is the one that he was driving. So the one that he had now, this was probably the newest of all the Rolls-Royce cars that he has got. And this is important because obviously there will be questions which will arise to say, this car, was it old? Was it used? Was it worked on? Was it involved in an accident and fixed? What really caused the car to burn? Because as you remember, yesterday I went to Rolls-Royce here in South Africa, and they told me that these cars, this Rolls-Royce, they've never had one which had an accident and burned up. So let's explore what could have caused this car to crash and burn. Now I want to take you through a crash test on a Rolls-Royce. As you can see, this is a head-on collision between a Rolls-Royce and another big car. And you can see what has happened to this car. The interesting thing you will see here is that the doors opened. The back doors opened backwards. So this brings me to, obviously, 2 conclusions. The design of the car from the front, it can withstand a crash, a head-on clash, and also the doors will open. So they're designed to open if there's a head-on collision. However, in Ginimbi's car, the doors stayed closed. and the people at the back could not come out? Could there have been an issue with the doors, or was this car only had 2 doors at the front? From looking at the car, it was not clear to me, but the people who were in the back, there was someone who was alive in there. They were not able to come out. Also, another unanswered question that I have is, this car crashed and it was a matter of time. So it did not burn immediately. It burned after between 5 to 10 minutes. They had already taken out Ginimbi from the car. The people who were outside, they were afraid to go near the car. They were afraid because they thought it was going to blow up, which means it was already showing signs of burning. Something was burning. And was the fire inside the car? Was someone holding a cigarette and started to burn when the car crashed? You know, there are a number of possibilities that could have caused the fire. But what is very interesting to me to know, if I was an investigator, would be, why did it take 10 minutes to burn? And why did the back doors not open? So I've been doing some research on the internet to see what can cause a car to burn after crashing. But keep in mind, this is not a cheap car. This is a well-made car with all the safety and security features. So when it burns, it causes a problem, especially given that it crashed with a Honda Fit, and the Honda Fit managed to survive the impact. It did not burn. So what made this car burn? And if you remember what the witness said, the person who was in the car, they said that after the car hit the Honda Fit, the Honda Fit turned and looked back where it was coming from, and Ginimbi's car turned and looked back where it was coming from. Is it possible that at that high speed, when Ginimbi crashed, his car crashed from the back and not from the front? Right, so this is my conclusion or my theory of how the accident happened. So Ginimbi was not traveling fast, and the car was designed properly to withstand front crash. And when he crashed into the Honda Fit, I am calculating that he was traveling at about 140 kilometers, which is not very fast for his type of car. And both of the cars spun around 180 degrees. So the Honda Fit looked where it was going, and Ginimbi looked back where he was going. But because he was moving fast, he continued to move backwards. And so when he crashed into the trees, he crashed backwards and not frontwards. And the 2 wheels at the back came off and continued traveling into the yard, the next yard. So the witnesses said that. And my expectation would be that the car would have generated sparks during that process, and those sparks, plus the fact that there were leaves on the ground or grass, that could have ignited a fire immediately on crashing, not from the car, but from the heat on the car and the leaves, and probably leaking petrol. It could also be that the catalytic converter at the back there, where there's the exhaust, was very, very hot, came into contact with something and ignited a fire. Because the fire took 10 minutes at least. Imagine the people walked to the car and then it took 5 minutes. So let's say 10 minutes, the leaves would be burning, and eventually the car would catch fire. That's why it blew up. So that is my theory of what happened to Ginimbi. And obviously, I put some questions that I asked Royce UK. They haven't responded to me, which is, will Royce come to Zimbabwe to investigate what happened? Is very, very important. Also, what is the crash test rating of this car? It's important. Ginimbi was the important customer. He spent at least 10 million on cars. not necessarily Rolls Royce. They spend $1 million. I'm sure they can afford a flight and someone who they pay $50,000 to come and investigate and improve the safety of their car. Finally, the Zimbabwe police do not do a good job. They do not protect the scene of the accident. And also, did the roads, the conditions of the roads in Zimbabwe contribute to damage at the bottom of his cars, so that it could have eventually caused foreign objects to get into Ginimbi's car, causing this fire. So I want to end it here today. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to comment on what I've said, please put it in the comment section. And if you're watching this on WhatsApp, send it to as many people as possible.